Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to replace my lumber crayon. Um, I have a little holder here, and I love these holders. They go right into your belt loop, and you can use them to hold on to your markers. They hold on to pencils. Pencils I really don't like because it can, once it gets down here, it'll hold the pencil, but once it gets to about right here and it's still pointy, I've had that actually stab me in my thigh, and it's pretty close to different areas, so you don't want to get stabbed there. So I don't put my pencils on these holders. You can put like markers, different things, whatever you want, but I use this for my milling crayons. And this, I'm going to just show you a tip, what I've learned with this that'll help you out. But obviously you can see it's time to replace it. This guy's really short. But let me show you how I use these crayons. And so I leave myself notes on my lumber. I used to use pencil, I've used marker, Sharpie, and I found that the crayons are the best. They actually sand out faster. With markers, sometimes they bleed into the fibers of the material, and also sometimes pencil will do the same, but not as much as a Sharpie. But I found that these crayons do a really good job of sanding out super quick, and that's the main reason is I want to know, as I'm milling lumber, can I see, I leave myself notes, and can I see it, and then can I get rid of it quickly as soon as after I've made the note. So right here, you can kind of see I got a dent in the wood, so this is just letting myself know, trim first. So for me, I have different things, TF, trim first. Also, if I'm needing measurements on a piece, I'll let myself know what the piece is. So for example, right here, there's some dents right here on this piece that once I get this cut down to the final size, if I have to work on this piece, I know that I have to put a little bit of moisture, so I'll put some hot water on it to make, because it's dented in, so I'll make those fibers pop back up. So I've had it to where I've painted this, and then after the moisture of the paint hits it, then that dent pops up after it's painted. So it's better to do it before your finish is applied rather than after. So this just leaves me notes. Here's the measurements that it has to be: 31 3/8 by 8 3/4, and this is for a lemonade stand tabletop. So this is letting me know what's going on here. I got more examples too on how I use it. So for example, here's a knot. What I'll do is I'll use filler, whether it be CA glue, filler sticks, or just the putty filler, or glue and sawdust. There's different methods you can use, but what I'll do is I'll leave myself a mark letting myself know, hey, there's filler there. Make sure that you sand down the filler, because the last thing you want is after you've put a finish on it, you see the little mountain of filler that you have there, and you didn't take time to sand that. So right here, if you can see it, there's a little hole or a gap there. So I'm going to fill that later, but I'll let myself know, make sure you fill this gap right here. And then just as we're examining this piece right here, there's a little crack right here in the knot, so I'll let myself know, fill that in. There's no crack here, we're good. So as I'm milling, I always leave myself notes. It's more efficient as I'll pan over here in a moment, but right here you'll see I have a crack here, and what I've done is I'll let myself know, hey, pay attention right here. See, there's a dent, and then right here, crack. So I let myself know, hey, pay attention, something's going on with this board. And here, right here, I'll have to fill that in. So leave yourself good notes on as you're working through the process. But I'm going to show you here, I got some lumber here that I need to mill later on, so I've already marked those out as I've jointed them. I've jointed one edge of them, and then right over here, these are actual longer boards that I have to mill out, and I'll show you here. Zoom in there. So on this board right here, there must be a dent right there. It's telling me that, see where that line is? It lets me know I need to remove that line and trim first right there before I begin milling. And then over here on the other board that's right next to it, right over here, it's telling me to trim first, and oh, my focus went out. I need to remove the area around that knot right there, because that's just too much of a danger zone for trying to keep the pieces. But let me back up here. I'm going to show you how I make this marking pencil, and then I got to get to work. But hopefully you guys are having a great day. So what I have found on these crayons is, if I just stick this piece right here, this crayon, inside of this right here, and I'll show you a tip on how to do that. Once you put that on there, this will slip right out. That's the first problem. So as you're, let's say you're somewhere and you need your marking tool, and this thing slips out. You're like, let's say you're on a ladder somewhere that it's just a pain in the butt having to go find it, or it just falls on the floor, goes underneath the table. That's not fun. So that's problem number one. Number two is, with this long piece of crayon, I've broken these so many times because of the, if I'm leaning up against the table and this is right next to the table, it'll just crack and break this right in half. So that's not fun. So I'm going to show you how to make this crayon, number one, more secure to where it doesn't break, and then two is, how does it stay in this holder long term. So the trick to that is, I just use masking or painter's tape. Painter's tape is thick. It's not so sticky to where I can't remove it later on, but it gives it just enough strength to where it doesn't break if I'm leaning up against the table. And the way that I do this is, I don't, obviously you have your tip there, so I kind of go at an angle there. So just get this right here, and then just like a candy cane, just wrap it up. It just goes down nice and slow. And towards the end here, I give it a couple more and then cut it off. And then I'll make sure that tape gets onto the paper wrapper that's around the crayon. So this is ready to use. Let's say, for example, that this has already been used up, and kind of like this, I'm at the edge of the tip there. So what I'll do there is, I'll just get my box cutter, and you don't want to cut the crayon, but you just basically want to remove enough of the painter's tape so that you can peel off some of that back there. So just peel this off right here. And I don't peel off too much. I always just leave about this much exposed. You can do a little bit more, but what I do is I'll cut that off there, and then it's ready for use. And then super easy, it comes right back up, and it's able to get onto my belt loop, and then I'm able to work and get it rolling. But I'm going to go ahead and replace this one, because obviously it's getting really short, and you can see it broke off inside there. It's so small. At the very end it breaks off, but this painter's tape really helps to keep it. Also the tape is great for keeping it on this holder, which I mentioned. But hopefully this helps somebody else out there out. I love having my marking tool. I love having efficiency. And have a great rest of the day, guys.